Okay, so let's get started. Fox News and Dominion have agreed to one of the largest settlements in any defamation case in the history of the United States. You guys already know defamation is a very difficult thing to prove in the United States of America. Free speech is pretty aggressively protective over especially media companies. And yet, for some reason, well, not for some reason, for very good reasons, Fox News was hit with a defamation suit, and they did not want to go through the court process and basically settled for $780 million, which is a gigantic amount of money. No, it's not chump change. You're out of your fucking mind. I'm upset because our content has been cucked. I think Discovery and the court process there, having, Tucker Carlson appear on the stand would have been delicious. It would have been excellent. But Dominion is a company that makes like around $18 million a year. For them, close to $1 billion. I mean, a historic settlement. You're out of your mind. All right, let's take a look.
In with the news, and the news this morning is a blockbuster settlement in the lawsuit accusing Fox News of airing lies related to the 2020 election. Fox and Dominion Voting Systems avoided a trial, agreeing to one of the largest settlements in any defamation case in American history. The voting machine company will collect more than $787 million. However, Fox News will not have to make an apology on its air. Scott McFarland was at the courthouse when the deal was announced, and he joins us now from Wilmington, Delaware, where this trial had been set to take place. Scott, good morning.
Tony, this was the ultimate last-minute settlement. The jury was seated. Opening statements were set to begin when both sides blinked and agreed to an eye-popping number. Avoiding a trial that would have turned Fox News' biggest stars into star witnesses, the company will cut a $787.5 million check to Dominion Voting Systems.
The president's lawyers alleging a company called Dominion.
Fox was accused of knowingly airing conspiracy theories and baseless claims, falsely linking Dominion to a scheme to flip votes during the 2020 election.
Like Judge Janine cost them like almost $1 billion. Like almost single-handedly. Like she was the worst offender out of all of the people involved in this. She was the worst offender. And it is kind of wild. I'm saying, this is overall a good thing. Fox will have to be more careful with defamation suits. They will have to be more careful with defamation in the future. They had him dead to rights. That's the reason why they settled. And, an apology is not supposed to come out of this, but yeah, they were trying to max out basically. It seems like they were just trying to simply max out on the realistic dollar value that they could get out of them. And they did that. They did just that. The number is biblical. Do I think Dominion could have gotten more if they didn't take the statement offer? I don't know. I think what was it like? They were looking for 4. But that number is unrealistic, especially because like they were looking for $2.7 billion. That number is unrealistic because they don't make that much money.
So much for those claims that voter fraud never happens. Of course it happens. They knew it happened.
That's despite evidence, including internal messages in which Fox executive Suzanne Scott warned challenging Trump's bogus claims could hurt ratings.
It's just funny that these guys literally text in a way where they feel like no one will ever, there will never be another. They text as though no one is watching. Okay, like they text as though they're like, surely there will never be a moment where I don't know, people will potentially sue Fox News for defamation. Like, your private text messages are not so fucking private, especially if they are, especially if there's like a suit. So don't fucking talk about how you are like actively and knowingly and willingly lying to your fucking audience, especially when you're lying to your audience about a lot of shit and you openly mention that you're lying to them about a lot of shit. That's what's hilarious about it, is that through the discovery process, they didn't even just find that like they clearly were lying about the Dominion stuff, even though they knew better. They also were lying about other things, like Tucker Carlson hating Donald Trump, like absolutely hating him. The disdain that they have for their audience is crazy.
Today's settlement of $787,500,000 represents vindication and accountability. Lies have consequences.
And the settlement included a public statement from Fox, which Tuesday night said it acknowledged the court's rulings, finding certain claims about Dominion to be false. But there was no requirement of an on-air apology or retraction, and Fox attorneys declined to speak to reporters outside the courthouse.
The folks at Fox are big boys and girls, and they can say whatever statement they want in the future to recognize what they did and what this court found. But we think that the dollar figure that they agreed to today speaks for itself.
The settlement spares Dominion from having to put its fate in the hands of 12 jurors and from years of likely appeals if the case went to trial.
They get an acknowledgement that this was wrong, and they get to move on. And in that sense, this is more accountability than people have seen from Fox News.
They're going to, I don't know, they're going to pay without any visible to the average American consequences. The only long-term positive from this is that they'll have to look out for defamation lawsuits. First of all, they always have to look out for defamation lawsuits. They have lawyers on retainer for that purpose. And secondly, $787.5 million is literally the most visible way that you could, you could openly admit wrongdoing without admitting wrongdoing. Every normal human being is going to see that and go, oh, okay, never mind. I mean, these guys got fucking shellacked. They got milked, okay? They got milked like a cow out to pasture. They were bursting from the seams and they got suckled on. Straight up, come on. Not a single human being that hears that $700 million number thinks, oh yeah, Fox News had to pay this because they didn't defame Dominion. Now, of course, the only reason why many people will not ever hear about this is because Fox News will not cover it. Fox News, most likely, is not going to cover this situation. There's no shot that they cover it. You know what I mean? Like, people on the Republican side will hear about it through people like yourself, okay? Telling your mom, telling your dad, telling your uncles that are fucking QAnon or whatever. But they're sure as hell not going to hear about it on Fox News, or even if they cover it on Fox News, it'll be in the morning. It'll be in like one of the earlier hours. It will never be during prime time. I doubt Tucker Carlson talks about it and says like it's really fucked up that, Dominion milked us dry. Here are my text messages talking about how I hate Donald Trump. But for those of you who think this is not a big deal, no media company has $1 billion, close to $1 billion in cash in circulation that they just have lying around that they would easily throw at a problem like this. This is a gigantic sum of money. Obviously, it will be held up in courts for many, many years, by the way. They're not going to immediately pay the settlement. Like that process is like a lengthy one. So they'll do everything they can to make sure that they set up a payment plan that's like manageable, blah, blah, blah. And they won't it won't genuinely eviscerate their stock prices or anything like that. But or it won't eviscerate their valuation overall. However, having said that, Fox doesn't have that money liquid. There's no way they can just pay this out. Yeah, of course, they don't usually, it doesn't go that way ever. But this is a gigantic sum of money. Okay? It's huge.